Just making a little U-turn here. Could this be turning points? So yesterday I went on ChatGPT and I was asking, like, I'm doing this podcast in a car because I don't just want to be talking directly to a camera anymore. And I was like, oh, what shall I call it? And I did Turning Point, which is the name of my company. So it's quite a smart response, but I've actually stopped or forgot the name of my original podcast, and I think it's as important now as what it was back then, so I'm going to keep with that name, and that is Failing My Way in Public to Success. And for me, this is still so important, and there's so many examples of this, but you might think you have your presentation down to an absolute T, you know what you do and you practice it at home. It's not till you get on stage and you're in front of people and doing it in a live studio audience is that you realise this doesn't work. So then you go back, you do it again, you go back, you do it again, and it's only in the failing part, which is the learning part, that you actually get better at what you're doing. So even from my podcast yesterday in the car, there's a couple of things that I've even learned from that. I don't really want this to be 10 minutes, so I'm going to get straight into it, okay? Right. I spoke about me doing a presentation last week about the pitfalls and the mistakes that people make within leadership. And there was two parts to this. One is that why do people get into leadership in the first place? I think people need to understand the reason that they're doing that. And the next part is, right, if you are going into leadership, what support, what guidance, who is ensuring that you're going to reach your full potential? It can't just be you. You have to have people that support and guide you and champion you. And that's what I help people with, not in a sales pitch way, but I'm saying, like, one thing that has helped me be successful is that I've had people around me that have wanted to help me. And that's because of the behaviours and the intentions that I have, and that I can share with people. But because of my behaviours and my intentions, I was given an opportunity within a company to be promoted, and I spoke about what I did yesterday. If you haven't seen the episode, go back and watch that one. You can still stay here. It won't stop what you're going to learn now or hear from me now, but go back and listen to the first one. Going through the interview process, my director, he said to me, Mark, what do you think about going for a promotion? And I said, well, I'm not sure, but I'll give it a go. And again, these things are coming to my head now, and you think to yourself, well, would you ask that? I asked him, and maybe he was giving me a bit of inside information here, but I asked him, and look, you don't ask, you don't get. And that's something I'm working on as well. I don't ask enough from people because I don't want to put people out, but that's a story for another time. I asked him, like, what are you expecting to see in my presentation? And he actually gave me an overview. So when you're banging your head against the wall thinking, like, what should I be presenting? What is this person going to expect? Ask the question, what are you expecting to see from this? And he gave me a breakdown, and it wasn't that he gave me the answers. I still had to put it together, go through the presentation. And that was tough, but at least I had a sort of expectation of what he wanted to see. And that really helped. So he's given me the expectation of what he wants to see. And fast forward, we've gone into this interview, and he comes up with a question, and he says, why should you get this job over the other person? And I said bluntly and to the point, I'm not here to talk about the other person, I'm here to talk about myself. If I do not get this job, I will leave the business. Now, for about 7 years, in my head, I've told myself that the reason why I've said that is because I'm the man and what a line to drop and everything. And the truth is, that actually isn't true. And it's only through going for a presentation I did last week about the social pressures of leadership and why people decide to be a leader in the first place. And one of the reasons is that the social pressure of Oh, you're not a manager yet? Oh, you're still doing a sales job? Oh, I thought you'd be a bit more than that by now. And it wasn't that I fell for that particular trap. It was that everyone would have known that I would have gone for this promotion. And if I wouldn't have got the job, I said to myself, oh, now I've got a taste of it, I have to go for a leadership role. But the truth is, I thought, I'll be so embarrassed going back into what I was doing when everybody across the business, everyone saw that I was interviewing for it. Everyone knew that I was going for that position. So that was a little bit of an awakening in the last couple of weeks, really, because even though, yes, I felt that, I couldn't, once I got a taste for leadership, I couldn't go back into doing just what I was doing. But also I came to a realization that, I would have been embarrassed. I would have been embarrassed to go back and have that person who I was a team member with have a promotion and me just continue with what I was doing, which, I was pretty happy with, coming in, making good money. But see, it's two ways here. One is that I'd been identified as a leader. My director saw something in me. Now, whether he thought, and again, this is the journey I've been on, was I coachable enough? Did he see me as the person that could be coachable? And I honestly believe that in the last, from working with him, getting things wrong multiple times, but putting my hands up, challenging him as well. You might not think to be coachable, you can challenge, but he wanted me to challenge him because it was a sort of mentor-mentee thing. And we both grew from that, I think, because I've got no doubt he never would have mentored someone like me before. And if you're watching this, you know who you are, and I've got no doubt. I toot my own horn. I'm pretty unique with certain things, especially when the finance team are saying to me, Mark, I've never met a manager who comes to us and doesn't ask us about his commission. He's asking about the team's commission. That's a pretty unique thing. But for me, you look after the team, and the knock-on effect from that is that good things will happen to you. Now, a caveat to that is that there's a lot of salespeople just in normal roles that are earning much more than what their managers are, because as a manager, you are relying on the whole team doing well, or at least 90%, 80-90%. Whereas as a salesperson or just as a general employee, it's you. You hit your number, you've done well. You've put money in your pocket. But if I could get that team working, if I could get people working together and supporting each other and get buy-in from the business as well, which is something I'll talk about another time. But I just wanted to talk about this because for years I was so and I tell people that story, oh, my manager said to me, if you don't get this job, what are you going to do? I'm going to leave the business. I'll mic drop. No, I was embarrassed, I think, to go back to my normal role and have everyone know that I didn't get the position. So are you having that real talk with yourself? Are you having that real discussion? Because a lot of people think that they are being authentic to themselves, but in reality, they're just lying. Love to hear your thoughts on this, everyone. This is another episode of me driving in the car on my way to the beach, and let's finish off. You could have been anywhere else, but you've been here with me, and I appreciate that. So that's it for failing my way in public to success. Please like, share, and subscribe. Let's get this message out, but I'll see you on the next one. Take care, everyone.